So I came back with two questions. The first one, and I was pretty shattered about this, is why is my people doing this? Why are we involved in the dispossession, the ongoing dispossession and ethnic cleansing of an indigenous people, of good people? And of course, the 48 narrative got totally reconstructed, deconstructed and reconstructed. You know, we see it as the war of independence. The Palestinians talk about the Nakba, which means basically the Holocaust. I realized that the problem was not the occupation that began in '67, but the fact that the occupation was the logical continuation of the ethnic cleansing that had begun really before 48, but certainly in 48. And so my question was, why are we doing this? Not what are we going to do to end the, quote, evil of the occupation and pull back to the '67 borders, but what do we do about this ethnic nationalist project that has hijacked my people and is dragging us down, and we're digging ourselves deeper and deeper into the hole? What do we do about this? Well, of course, this message was not particularly, again, it was not welcomed. But the other question that soon began to come to me once I got home and started to talk especially to non-Jewish audiences was, why is America helping us? Why particularly is the church and the Christians helping us? Why is America helping us? So there are two things that we're confronting here. One is Christian Zionism. Now, I am not talking about Citizens United for Israel and John Hagee and the end of days millennialist folks, who, even though they're big and they're powerful, are still an extreme that can be discounted by, you know, the broad center of Christians. I'm talking about the Christian Zionism that's hiding in plain sight, you know, at First Presbyterian of Topeka. And I'll talk more about that. Well, I'll talk about it right now. But the other thing is, of course, American foreign policy, which is at the root of the problem. And if anybody didn't understand that there is a problem with that, certainly the events of the last couple of days demonstrate that. And I don't know about any of you guys, I was not surprised about what's happened. I was a little bit surprised when Abu Mazen caved as transparently as he did, but it's not surprising that the quote peace process is no such thing. So there are two things. The wake-up call for me came soon after I got back in '06, and I was speaking in a church, in a Presbyterian church in Washington. This story is recorded in the book. And soon after I got back, so I was a bit naive about this, and I gave a talk, and it was in a church, in a forum that was all about human rights. The pastor knew what I was going to talk about. He was in agreement with me. And he came up to me afterwards. He's a senior guy, very impressive guy, and we're good friends now. And he said, I agree with you, I admire your courage in saying all these things, etc., but I think we really have to be sensitive to the feelings of Jews when we talk about these things. And I very naively said to him, what do you mean? And he said, look, as a pastor, I have devoted my life to, and this guy's a scholar, to studying Christian history. I, as a Christian, feel responsible for the Nazi Holocaust. That was Western anti-Semitism. That was a church. It couldn't have happened without that. I think he's right. I said, okay. He said, I've devoted my life to social justice, and I work with an interfaith group in this city with imams and rabbis. We take on every cause under the sun except this one. Out of respect for the rabbis, we don't touch it. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those moments where words come out of your mouth you didn't know you had. I said to him, Pastor, you have to do something else with your Christian guilt.
Yeah.
I said, the rabbis who will not talk about Israel are not friends of Israel, and they're not friends of the Jewish people. The Christians who are colluding with that are not friends of Israel. They're not friends of the Jewish people, and this is not what Jesus Christ wants you to do. Did I just say that to him? No. And he didn't flinch. We're still talking about it. But I got it. I understood what was going on. And it's powerful. You have 3 or 4 generations of pastors who've been educated in a revisionist theology. I mean, what happened? Just metaphorically, and maybe sometimes literally, in 1945, you have the Western Christian world started in Germany with the Reformed Church, but it spread quickly. Standing before the oven saying, what have we done? And what emerged from that was a very deliberate, very faithful effort on the part of the Christian world, and on the part of the churches, to fix what was wrong with Christian theology, to get the anti-Judaism out of it. The dirty word is supersessionism. Christianity came to replace and supersede the covenant, God's covenant with the Jewish people. We are the new Israel. And then all kinds of ugly stuff came with that. The fact that the Jews suffer is proof that they were punished by God for murdering the Son, all of that. So there's a real deliberate effort to clean that up. And it came out of a very deep feeling of wanting to atone, and I think also wanting to become purified. I think, and I don't want to get too much into the theology, I think, with apologies to Teacher Bonhoeffer, I think it's cheap penitence. I think the Christian world did need to take a look at itself, but basically, just to put it simply, the guilt offering to the Jewish people is not the way to go. And that basically Christian triumphalism has been replaced with a kind of a Zionist Judeo-Christian triumphalism. It still leaves out the rest of the world, and Christians are just taking a piggyback ride on the back of this now elevating Judaism as we're still God's chosen. The chosen people is not a concept I'm good with. And if you look at Christian Zionism, it's really just another